started with the project then, let's just quickly run through everything that we're going to need to make this project. So it's a nice simple one. You are going to need the Cricut foiling set, and this is the blue casing that it comes in, and then you get 3 different tips that you can choose from. One's bold, one's medium, and one is fine. I'm going to be using the medium, which has 2 lines on it, and I'm going to use the bold one there, which has 3 lines on it. So I'm going to keep them in my little tool holder just until I'm ready to use them, so I don't lose them, because these little tips are quite fiddly. So let's just pop that to one side for now. I've got some basic tools, so you're going to need a cutting mat. This is a standard grit one that I'm using today. I've got my scraper, I've got my brayer, I have 2 True Control tools. One has got a weeding tool in the end, and the other one is the True Control knife. Then I've got a pair of scissors, and these are my materials. So for the bases of my bookmarks, I'm going to be using some pearl card. This one is a nice sort of navy blue. It's got a white background on it, and then this one is like a creamy ivory gold colour, and this is double-sided. So this one is a white core and this one is colour throughout. Then I have 2 different packs of foil. This one's got all the pinks, reds and the gold in, and then this one I think is the same, but I think I've actually put my gold and silver in here as well. So I'm going to be using silver, I think, on this one, or maybe gold, not sure yet. And then I'm going to use a pink on this one. And then the idea with these bookmarks is that we make them a little bit more sturdy by using some permanent vinyl on the back of them, and I think it'll jazz them up as well and make them quite funky. So I've got 2 Cricut premium vinyls. One has got this lovely like bubbles, pink bubbles on it, and then this one is a purple version, and I think it's going to match lovely with the colours that I've got here. So we're going to cut out using these and pop these on the back. So let's jump into the project in Design Space and see what it needs. Here's the project then in Design Space. As you can see, we have 4 different bookmark shapes on the screen. This project is going to be available on my profile, so if you want to check it out, just check out my profile. If you don't know how to find it, there's a really short video in the description down below that will explain how to do this really easily for you. So we've got 2 purple bookmarks to start with, and those are going to be the ones that we're going to cut out with the vinyl to go on the backs of the bookmarks, and then the 2 ivory portions are what we are going to cut out using the cardstock, and we are going to foil. Now I haven't changed the colours of these yet to be corresponding with the colours of the cardstock that I'm using, so we're going to do that now. I have attached these together, but that doesn't really matter either. We can just click on that slice result there and then come up here to the colours and just select the blue. The gold actually looks really nice against that, so I might go with that one. And then this one here again is attached. Let's click on the ivory portion. We can leave that the same. Let's just have a quick look if the gold looks nice on that. I think it's a bit wish-wash, so let's just change that back to pink. That looks perfect. I'm going to change the colour of this one to be the darker purple, and then I'm going to change this one to be a pink, just so that when we cut it out we don't get confused as to what's going on. So let's just change that to that pink, and we are ready to go. What we need to do now then is go through to make, and we need to set up our mat ready so that we can foil at the same time. So what's going to happen when we cut this is the Cricut is going to do the foiling first, and then it's going to do the basic cut. So there is a bit of a process involved in it. I'm going to go through it with you now, so it's really easy for you to follow. Let's go through to continue. And I'm going to be choosing poster board for my setting for cutting. Let's now go back to the desk and get the mat set up with the foil and the cardstock. Alright then, here is my mat, and I've got my 2 sheets of card here. So we're going to start off with the ivory one. I've got the screen record on the screen as well, so you can see what I am aiming for with this particular project. So let's just pop this piece of cardstock up into the corner like we normally would, and if we just go over to the screen, we can see, if I click on edit here, that is where it's going to cut right up into that corner. So what I'm going to actually do is just pull that down a touch, and I'm going to pull it down so that it's in line with that first square. So my machine is actually going to be cutting down here into this portion. It's not going to be right up into that corner like it was to start with. So we've got the first box here, which is like this in this corner, so it's going to start cutting about there. Now the reason I've done that is so that we can tape down our foil and make sure that when we peel that away we've not damaged the cardstock in any way. So that is ready on there in the right position. Now what we need to do is put our foil down on here. So this is the ivory one, so I'm going to be using the hot pink I think for this one, which is this one here. Just grab a little sheet of that, and then have I got any tapes in here? Yeah. So when you buy the foil, it comes with these little bits of reusable tape. What we need to do now is just pop our foil up into the corner, and we want to make sure that it's going to cover the whole of our project. So if we again refer back to our screen, this is going to come down to the 16 line, and it's going to start off at about 3.5, so we want to pull it down to about there, and we want to make sure that it's going to cover the whole of our project. So now it's really important to make sure that you refer to the measurements on the top of your mat and on the side, and then go back to your screen like I have and just check where they are. This is a little side note, but I am not very happy with the way that Cricut have changed the preview of the mat to have all these silly little squares on it, because they don't correspond to the mat now very easily without you sort of having to work out where you are. So hopefully they will change that back in a future update. Let's grab some of these little bits of tape. Now you can either use the tape that comes with the foil, or you can use tape of your own. So you could use masking tape, you could use washi tape, whatever you like. Sometimes I do find if I'm using a more delicate piece of cardstock that this stuff is a little bit strong for it, and it does pull up your top layer of your cardstock. But I think with this it's going to be okay because it's pearl. When you put your second piece of tape on, what you want to do is get a good grip on it here and then pull it down as taut as you can, so that it's nice and tight against that piece of cardstock. We don't want the machine to move that foil at all when it's doing its thing, because if it does, it's likely to miss parts, and then you might also end up with the foil jamming in your machine. What I like to do is put tape on all 4 sides, and again, if possible, pull it out as taut as you can on each side, just to be sure that it's nice and tight. Right, that is ready to go. I am also going to pop a little bit of tape just on that corner there, purely because my mat isn't all that sticky. That's just going to help to hold that down. I think I might put some on this side as well, just to be safe. Right, there we go. That's ready to go. Let's go back to the screen now. So let's have a look at what is next. So we've set our base material to poster board, and then we've got load tools and materials. So this is important. You need to take note of the order that the Cricut's going to perform each function in. So first of all, it's going to foil using the bold foil tip, and that's the one that I said earlier is the one with the 3 lines on it. Then it's going to do a basic cut. So what's going to happen, we're going to put in the foil transfer tool into clamp B. We've got our foil taped down onto the mat. We're going to pop that in, and then what's going to happen, the Cricut's going to stop halfway through after it's finished doing the foiling, and it's going to tell us that it's done the foiling, and it wants us to switch that foiling tool out and put in the fine point blade. And we will also need to remove this foil, but we need to make sure we do it while it's still in the machine. But I'm going to go through that with you as we go along. Let's head over to the machine and get everything set up. Here we are at the machine then, and it's got its flashing insert mat button on already. You can see at the moment I do have the scoring stylus in here, and I've also got my deep point blade in clamp B at the moment. So that's where we're going to be putting our foiling tip, which is here. Now you can see I've already got a tip in here, so all I need to do to remove that is press that plunger in, and I'm just going to lift that out. And this is the medium one, it's got 2 lines on it, so I'm going to pop that to one side. And then this one is the bold one, it's got 3 lines on it, and all you want to do to pop that into there is literally just push it into the top, and it's magnetic so it holds it in, it's not going to fall out if I turn it round. Then I'm going to open up my clamp B. It's going to take out that deep point blade I'm just going to pop in my blue foil tip and then just close up that is now ready to go. Let's get the mat and insert it. So I'm just making sure that my star wheels are moved to the side. So there's 4 star wheels on this machine. I've put 1 to this side and then I have the other 3 over this side. And if we were to leave the star wheels on the roller, what would happen is as it goes over the foil, it's going to make some indentations in the foil and it's going to ruin our design. Let's press the flashing insert mat button. We are ready to go, and on the screen everything is looking good. Let's now press the flashing C. Can you see? That is all done and the foiling is finished. Let me just take the camera off of the tripod and I'm going to show you what it looks like on the mat now. So this is what it looks like after the machine's finished doing its foiling. It looks pretty good. What I'm going to do now is peel back the tape on here. So I'm going to keep you in my hands. I'm apologising now if this goes a bit wobbly, because I don't think you'll be able to see it if I keep you on the tripod. These pieces of tape are reusable, so you can stick them back down onto the backing paper that they came off originally. Got no nails today, so I can't peel it back. Okay, there we go. Now we've got a good hold on that. It's important, as I said, not to eject the mat. So that is off there now, and this is what the foil looks like. We can't use it again. We could cut off this half maybe and keep that in the little packet and use that again for another project. So next then, let's take out that foil tip. I'll just pop it on the top there. Then I've got my fine point blade here. Let's just pop that into clamp B, the same as we did with the foil tip. We're happy to just press go and the machine's now going to perform the cutting portion. Here's our bookmark then for the one side, and what we want to do now is make it a little bit more substantial and a little bit more decorative by covering the back with that lovely vinyl. So let's pop that onto the mat now, and we can cut that piece out and get that stuck onto the back of our bookmark. Grab your preferred weeding tool, and we're going to just get this outer portion peeled away from there. And you can see this vinyl, because it's on a plastic backing, is really bendy. I'm going to use a small piece of transfer tape today, so I'm just going to take the last bit off this roll. I can't believe I've gotten through a whole roll of this, but it has lasted me quite some time. Let's just cut that bit off. Going to turn it over. That is the absolute end of that roll. I'm going to put that onto there, give it a good burnish with my scraper, and then I'm just going to cut that out using my True Control knife. Yeah. Now it's important again to give it a good burnish. Make sure that it's really well stuck to your transfer tape. And then we can peel back this plastic backing. This vinyl, incidentally, is one that I got in my mystery box that I bought a while ago. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it for you down below and above if I can. It was a good video, it was interesting, but I'm not sure I'd buy a mystery box again, because I think that was 3 years ago, and this was the first time I've ever used this vinyl. Now we've got the vinyl attached to the piece of transfer tape and we've got the corners exposed, what we can do is grab our backing paper and we can pop it just on the back of the vinyl again, and that is just going to expose that top portion. So we've got our piece of backing card on there. What we can do now is get our bookmark and we can make sure it's in exactly the right position by doing it the right way round. Perfect. Now we're happy that that is in the right spot. What we can do is peel away our transfer paper. And there is our bookmark. It looks fab, and when we flip it over, it's got this awesome background on it. It's beautiful, and I'm sure that the mums are going to love these. Here's my 2 finished bookmarks then. In the end, I decided to go for the pink on the back of the blue one as well. I must say that the medium tip didn't work quite as well as the bold one did. It's a little bit more hit and miss, but I do actually quite like the way that it looks. So what I'm going to do now is just make a couple of small tassels just to go on the end of the bookmarks. So I've just got this cord that I think I got from a craft show a while ago. I'm just going to wrap that around my fingers a few times just to create the tassel. Let's just put that into a loop like so, and we want to keep those ends nice and neat. Then I need another small piece of this. This is such a bird's nest. I need to sort it out really, but I keep just using it like this and then I've lost the end. Here it is. Right, so let's just cut off a little bit here, and we want to just wrap that around this end loop. You want to try and keep them nice and neat if you can and all together. So just going to put that, let me just tidy them up a little bit before I carry on. Right, just going to tie that around there and wrap it round a couple of times just to make it nice and neat. There we go. And then we're just going to tie that in a neat knot. Okay, and do a double just to make sure it's not going to come undone. I might actually put a little dab of hot glue on these as well, just to make sure that it's got a little bit of protection so it's not going to come undone. There we go, nice and tight. Let's just cut the end off that, and I will scorch the ends of this cord as well. Now that I've got my one end all secured, what I can do is just cut these tassels and I can tidy them up with the scissors just to make it look a little bit more tassely. Move all my bits out of the way. Then just grab another small length of cord, and what you want to do is pass that through all your loops at the end of your tassel. If you had a bodkin or a darning needle or something similar, this might be a little bit easier at this stage. I haven't got mine on hand, so I'm just using my fingers to thread that through. That's holding onto there nicely, and then I can just poke that through my hole and tie a loose knot at the end. There we go, pull that tightly again. I can cut off those little ends again, and I'm going to scorch this just with my lighter just to make sure that those ends are not going to fray. Just be really careful when you're doing this. Let's do the same with these ones, and then each of these. Here we go, get them all. Yep. So there is our finished bookmark. It looks fab. I am super duper pleased with how it's turned out. The back makes it look beautiful and finishes it off really, really nicely. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to subscribe and drop me any questions, comments that you've got down below. And I'll see you soon for another video. Take care. Bye.